Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Have you ever noticed that there's a big difference between what most people know and what they do? Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher have a program called Thinking into Results, and I love this process because what they teach is that we were raised in a world and we received schooling for many years in a system where the focus was on learning, taking in information, and then recognizing the individual for how much they could remember. But Bob Proctor says that's not learning. What we've learned is to do things habitually. And he suggests that we unlearn some of the stuff that we've been doing automatically and learn something that's going to take us to a completely different level, to a world that we truly desire, where we can create a vision, where we can enjoy what we really want. We're now living in a world that really isn't interested in what you know. In fact, the only people that are being recognized today are the ones who can do things, who get the job done. Bob Proctor researched this subject for close to 50 years, and he concluded that it is only in the rarest case where you would find a person doing everything that they know how to do him. This caused him to be very enthusiastic because he points out that without any further study, people can improve their performance and enjoy greater results with what they already know. In this process, I teach that there are two parts of the mind. One part is the conscious mind. The second part is the subconscious mind. Sub means below the surface. The conscious mind is connected to the world all around us through our senses. We can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch, and we've been raised to live through our senses, to gather information, which is principally what we've been trained or conditioned to do. We understand that our conscious mind is what we use to think with. That's our intellect. We can look around and interpret what's going on around us. But the subconscious mind is that part of the mind that expresses whatever is impressed upon it. That expression is what we refer to as doing. You could say that the subconscious mind is in control of the doing. Your body just does what your subconscious mind is programmed to do. It follows the programming, like the instructions that were given to a computer. It just follows the instructions. And we live through habits. A habit is an idea that is fixed in a person's subconscious mind that causes them to do something without any conscious thought. A paradigm is what causes our habitual behavior. And if you think about the way we live, the paradigm is actually a multitude of habits. It's the way you habitually think, the way you habitually feel, the way you habitually behave. That's what a paradigm is. And at times we do things that we don't want to do. We get results that we don't want, but we do it anyway. This is because of the paradigm in the subconscious mind that controls our actions or our behaviors. I always think of it like ripples in a pond. Your actions cause a reaction in the universe. But you don't take action really unless you have a thought first. And when you have a thought, that leads to a feeling. So thoughts, feelings, and actions combined create your world, create what's going on the outside. So what you're looking at with your conscious mind, what you're experiencing in your outside world that you think is reality, it's real because it's been thought about, felt, acted upon until it became physical reality. For a person to change their environment, to experience any permanent change in their personal and professional life, there must be a change in the primary cause of the results. And that's not looking to change what's going on outside. A common error is trying to change results by changing behavior. When this happens, the change is generally temporary. Although behavior causes results, it is a secondary cause. The primary cause is the paradigm. You remember I just said a paradigm is a multitude of habits. It's an idea fixed in a person's subconscious mind that causes them to do something without any conscious thought. A paradigm is what causes our habitual behavior. If we start to understand the paradigm, we start to understand the power of habit. We can start to change when we understand how the subconscious mind is programmed. Knowing is not enough to get results. Results come from behavior, and behavior is caused by the paradigm. Your results tell an interesting story. They tell the world an interesting and true story about how the person is programmed. When you look at your results, you can tell what you've been thinking, what you've been doing. In the workplace, when we become open and honest in recognizing our programming or our paradigms, we can begin to change the programming and significantly improve results. As a paradigm is changed, the behavior changes and the results change. When you understand paradigms, it will become obvious that high achievers are not successful primarily because of what they know, but rather because of what they do. Their paradigms, one way or another, have been aligned with the results they desired. It's their paradigms, the habitual way they do things, that are producing the results that they want. When you focus on the paradigm, helping you understand why you're doing what you're doing, everything will start to change. And Bob Proctor suggests that we change the software because 90% of the population keeps getting the same results year in and year out. This is as true for students in school as it is for the person in business. Sometimes there's an improvement in the performance of most people, but often it's just minimal. It's a blip on the screen, and it's not enough to make any substantial difference in a person's lifestyle. Bob Proctor writes about paradigms in his book, The ABCs of Success, and he said, paradigms can be likened to a program that has been installed in your brain, but you can change that software. The same infinite power flows to and through each one of us. And if we had been taught to develop our higher faculties in the first place, we would understand that all things are possible, and we would understand how and why all things are possible. You're going to be delighted to learn that just changing a very small part of the old paradigm can make an enormous difference in the results you can enjoy in every area of your life. Think of the areas in your life that money affects. Imagine shifting your paradigm to substantially increase your income before the end of this year. Money is energy. Money is just what we use as an exchange for services. It can be easy to make money when you understand money is just an instrument. It doesn't have feelings. It's not evil or good. It's simply a method that we use to exchange products and services. Bob Proctor would suggest that if you're earning $30,000 a year, it's because that's the way you've been thinking, not because that's necessarily what you want. And if you want millions of dollars, you have to think what it's like to spend that kind of money, to earn that kind of money, to become that person easily, effortlessly, having money work for you, not being a slave to money, but have it be an instrument of exchange and have it flowing in your life. He suggests if you have difficulty meeting people, you can alter your paradigm so that it's easy and enjoyable to meet people. That could have quite an impact on your life. Earning money and meeting people are just two examples of hundreds that could be changed in your life. But there will be no permanent change in your life until the paradigm, the habitual way you think, feel, and act has been changed. What are one or two limiting ideas that are part of your paradigm that you could replace with new ideas that represent freedom to you? Consciously keep those new ideas in your head and act as if those thoughts are already embedded in the foundation of your life. Before you know it, your life will begin to change dramatically. How do you spend your time? Bob Proctor did a quick estimate about the average person. He said the average person spends 4 hours a day in front of their TV. That adds up to 10 and a half years between the ages of 2 and 65. Add to that 21 years that the average person spends sleeping, which is what 8 hours a night works out to, and you'll realize that about half of 63 years that an average person lives is spent totally unconscious, sleeping or in front of the vacuum tube, creating a vacuum in your head. Think about it, 31 and a half years in front of a TV or sleeping. He says that's not an indictment against TV, and I agree we must rest, but he thinks it's ridiculous that we spend so much time not thinking. If you want to accomplish something in this life, he suggests you just cut back 2 hours a day sleeping or 2 hours a day watching TV, and you could add 6 24-hour days to each year. That's a lot of time that you could enjoy a richer life. He says over 63 years, you would have an extra 10 years to accomplish whatever you choose. That's a lot of time to spend. How are you going to spend it? You have to build a picture, a vision, something that you really, really, really want. Many years ago, Helen Keller was asked if she thought there was anything worse than being blind. She quickly replied that there was something much worse. She said, the most pathetic person in the world is a person who has their sight but no vision. Bob Proctor agreed that with that. He said, when people have no vision of a better way of life, they have automatically shut themselves into a prison. They have limited themselves to a life without hope. He says this frequently happens when people have seriously tried on a number of occasions to win, only to meet with failure time after time. Repeated failures can damage a person's self-image and cause them to lose sight of their potential. They might give up and resign themselves to their fate. Vernon Howard wrote that you cannot escape from a prison if you do not know that you're in one. Howard is right. These people are in a prison of their own making and don't know it. Without a vision of a better life, there can be no hope. If you happen to be caught in this type of negative cycle, take the first step in predicting your own prosperous future. Build a mental picture of exactly how you would like to live. That takes practice, that takes closing out the outside world, shutting out your five senses that you use all the time with your conscious mind. Taking a few minutes every day to close your eyes and to just get into a calm state of being. Just close your eyes, shut off your cell phone, close the door to your office or your bedroom, and just think about what you really want, not the lack of it or how bad it feels to not have what you want, but really getting into that feeling. Why do you want what you want? You want something that's going to make you feel happy, healthy, wealthy, feel better than the usual daily grind. So you build a vision, you build a mental picture of exactly how you would like to live. That's just getting into a dreamy state, like when you first wake up in the morning or just before you fall asleep, and you could think about, how does it feel to be living in that fantasy? That's how all things become reality, is when you focus on them in your mind and then add emotion to it. Your subconscious mind will go looking for whatever you think predominantly and add emotion to. So you really want to practice thinking and feeling a beautiful life, an idea that you want to bring into your physical reality. Because physical reality is the last stage. It starts in your thinking conscious mind, and then you plant the vision in your subconscious mind. You plant it by practicing, thinking and feeling, writing about what you want. With well-being, being calm and at ease, just allowing yourself to float into that space of what would it be like? How happy, how healthy, how wealthy, how much fun that allows you to be creative. Build a mental picture of exactly how you would like to live, and then hold on to that vision. As you hold on to that vision, positive ways to improve everything will begin to flow into your mind. Your vision is a mental picture of the actual lifestyle, and it can be what you already know is available, something that other people have that you want. And rather than being jealous or resentful, you just realize this simple truth. If they can do it, you most certainly can. All people have the same potential to live their dream. It's simply a matter of utilizing the unlimited potential that we all have. Have you got a picture in your mind of the way you want to be living? If you can hold the vision, I know people that pretended in their mind, they walked through every room of the house that they wanted, the kitchen, the bathroom, the foyer, the living room. They pretended they were sleeping in that master bedroom that they desired. They knew what it would look like. Every day they walked through this house in their imagination. And 3 years later, they're living in that exact house. They knew where it would be. They knew what the view would look like from each of the windows. They knew where the bed would be. They designed the floor, the color of the walls, the front door. They knew exactly every detail that they wanted. They envisioned it. They pretended every day that that's where they were living. And through repetition, through practicing, visualizing it, the subconscious mind accepted that that was their reality. And now they are living in that house in physical reality. It took 3 years, but it wasn't the blueprint. It was their imagination, their vision, the idea of living in the home that they wanted. And it is now real. You can do that. Your vision is a mental picture of the actual lifestyle that you want. What would it feel like to be sleeping in that room that you would love? What is the view from your bed? What is the view when you wake up and look out the window? Which direction is your door facing, and what does the door look like? Think of every detail. If you have a desire that is a possibility And if you have a deep desire that's planted in your heart and you don't worry about how it's going to happen or focus on every single step that you need to take, you will live that reality. But you have to believe it. You have to strengthen your faith. You have to be patient and persistent and practice visualizing. Auto-suggest to yourself. That means telling yourself over and over and over, this is my life. You can get it encoded into your subconscious by writing about it. Writing causes you to think. So as you're writing about that dream home, the beautiful, loving marriage that you have, the ideal trip that you want to take, not worrying about the money or the time or how, but just feeling as if it's already done and writing about it, writing in the present tense, what it looks like, what it feels like, adding some detail. Imagine that it's already done. You're writing a letter to yourself, congratulating yourself, or you're writing a letter to your best friend, explaining exactly what it is that you imagined and it's now yours. How excited would you be to tell them about it? Write it down, add some positive details, add some positive feelings. As you're writing, you start to think about ideas. Ideas pop into your head from out of the blue. Write down those ideas. And instead of talking yourself out of it, go ahead and do it. Do what needs to be done today to take you one step closer to that beautiful vision. Don't discount any simple little ideas that pop into your head, like driving a different way to work or going to a certain event. Perhaps that's where you run into a person that can help you. You meet someone, you do something differently, and as you change the way you think, feel, and act, your environment changes, your whole world changes. But it starts with thinking about, what do you really want? Getting into the feeling as if it's already yours, and taking time to imagine yourself there. And soon it will be your reality. Create a wonderful day. See how much you can practice at this weekend. Thinking, feeling, acting, writing about your goal as if it's already done. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you back here Monday morning at 7. Thank you.